Welcome back, everyone. As you probably know, a topic that's really something that we feel here as a community, we really need to address income inequality and what it's like for people in this day and age to try to make ends meet, to try to get ahead for themselves and for their families. And when you think about poverty, you could think about it being generational poverty, or you could think about it being situational poverty. However, in both those cases, you're 24 hours away from crisis. And I don't know about you, but that always registers with me. And I think to myself, those kinds of struggles, a lot of us don't understand, but we should certainly be aware of it. And joining me today is an expert in this field. This is Bonnie Nelson, who's Family Development Manager for Captain. Now, Captain is an organization, Community Human Services Organization. And we're about to tell you the scope of what these people do. But first, welcome, Bonnie.
Thank you.
Very nice to have you here. I hope I set it up correctly for you. It's an issue that a lot of us feel, a lot of us try to understand, but we're not the experts.
Not at all.
Right?
Not at all.
So tell me about that.
Oftentimes we are very, very passionate about these issues, and we try to develop programs and policies to solve these problems. Rarely do we bring people to the table who are actually living it, and involve them in the solutions. And people who are struggling day to day to survive and make ends meet, they're the experts.
Yes.
And we need to be listening to that, I think.
Now, Captain provides, in case people don't know about Captain, give us just kind of that 30,000-foot view of Captain, if there is.
Really. We have a very wide range of services. We have a youth shelter for runaway and homeless youth. We have a street outreach program for runaway and homeless youth, when those guys are out there literally on the streets with these kids. We have our Family Assistance Emergency program, which helps people who are facing housing crises or utilities, things like that, any kind of financial crisis. We have the Cheryl's Lodge Outreach Center in the Half Moon Heights mobile home community in Half Moon. Our CareLink Senior program is for helping seniors to stay in their homes. We have our Family Development Mentoring program and our Getting Ahead program, which we'll talk more about. We have
the scope of
a food pantry,
is
yes.
Really, is
our
really
summer
amazing
meals
there.
program, yeah.
You know what? The question I would like to ask you is, someone comes through the door, a Captain, right? For any number of things that you just sort of identified as areas of need, why are they coming through the door? Is it emotional? Is it meaning physical? It could be a physical abuse issue. Is it a financial issue? You know, what do you see most often?
Yes.
Yeah,
all
got
of
it.
those.
Yeah, got it.
Yes, it could be anything from a financial crisis to someone fleeing a domestic abuse situation, homelessness.
Yeah, right. You know, I want to just, I interviewed somebody recently about homelessness. You know, we tend to think, oh, these are the people that are destitute, they're always destitute and everything. Go back to the thing I said about generational poverty or situational poverty. You're 24 hours away from crisis. Crisis can be homelessness.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. All it takes is one catastrophic event. You break your leg, or I work with people.
Your car breaks down.
Car breaks down. I
know,
work with
I feel
folks
this.
all the time who work in, lower wage jobs where they don't have paid time off, and the kids get sick and their paycheck is cut, and so they can't make the rent and they're out on the street, or they're facing eviction. And once you tack on the late fees and the legal fees, it becomes insurmountable.
Well, you know what? Just the technicalities, which I can't ever follow. And what I mean by technicalities is that, if your wages are cut, and it starts to have a domino effect on so many other pieces of your financial well-being. And let's face it, we're not all accountants, so you get confronted with this, and you don't know how to deal with it.
It's overwhelming.
It becomes overwhelming.
It's overwhelming.
One of the programs that Captain does is called the Getting Ahead program, and there was something in here that I just want to tell you about. about participating in this, just in case you think this is a handout. Again, you have to go back to understanding how close to crisis so many families are, single-parent families with children trying to figure out, how am I going to get to next week? Not next month, next week. But the participants make a commitment to attend classes, a 16-week program. They have to be on time. They've got to participate. They have to be respectful. I really like that word. They have to demonstrate application of what is learned. And then, in true, the way a society should work, they become mentors themselves after the 16 weeks. The point you said to me early on, which really stayed with me, is that this isn't just a 16-week course. This is a lifelong commitment.
It is. It's a lifelong relationship. They are building relationships with their peers in the group, with the co-facilitators, with their mentors, and with the other graduates, and really working together going forward and continuing to stay part of that relationship and that community of people who are moving from surviving to thriving.
Yeah, surviving to thriving is good. In a way, without sounding too corny here, it's about extended family. That, you know, a lot of these people who are facing these issues and are finding themselves in crisis, a lot of times don't have someone to turn to. So all of a sudden, if they go through a program and then they become mentors for somebody else going through the program, that extended family, you know, is really something that people can count on for support. Hey, I really encourage you. There's a website you have to go to, captaincares.org. captaincares.org. And as you know, when it's a .org, it's a not-for-profit. Captain needs donations. They need volunteers. As most organizations of their kind, they're writing grants all the time, trying to raise money. And of course, the needs outweigh the resources constantly. But Captain is, of all the organizations I talked to, Bonnie, Captain just really has you've got your vision. You know, you're out there, you're talking to the people. And again, not the hand out, the hand up.
Our motto is lifting people up and building brighter futures. And that's really what is our vision, and we build all of our programs around that idea, to try to help people write their own future stories, really. Yeah, you can write your own future stories. And by the way, I'm going to leave you with one thought. If you don't think that this affects us here in Saratoga County, how about 28% of the population in Saratoga County is facing the issues that we just discussed in this interview? CaptainCares.org. They need money, they need volunteers, they need your support. Thank you very much for coming in. Thank you for having me. Come in every time. You're welcome anytime you want to come in. Thank you. You're welcome. See this interview again. You can head to our website, looktvonline.com.